We took a hotel for the night. We'll be comfortable here, Monsieur Fogg remarked, but travelling overnight will often be more efficient. Where possible. Cannot travel where it is not possible, certainly, he replied. Still, the surrounds of the Hotel Ritz were most enjoyable. Let us depart. To Amsterdam. In a private car. Go! On our way. On our way to Amsterdam. From where we should be able to get to Berlin. I can't imagine we wouldn't. We found a member of the Coachmakers Guild to carry us to Amsterdam. She loaded the case onto the back, stoked the boiler and took off at high speed along the coastal road, swerving around each corner with considerable skill and, I think, a touch of showmanship. I clung on tight. This would be a terrific ride. I shall converse with the driver. Greetings, driver. I can't drive well if you're talking to me. I'll ask you about Amsterdam. I'm interested in it. Canals of Amsterdam are no longer lined with gold. Can we get to Berlin? Absolutely. Berlin can be reached by a private car. The journey is a tiring one. And from Berlin to... where else did I want to go? Prague, I think? I don't know, but listen, the clock in the town square is a piece of junk. Bye. Alrighty, well, we got a next leg planned. We shall see how that goes. Once or twice, the metal-rimmed wheels lifted the chassis clear from the road on one side, only to bump down after a chuff and puff more of the engine. We were jolted around like so much poultry as the wind whipped through our hair. A ghastly state of affairs. The Polish inventor Bozek, who had first attached a perfectly decent locomotive engine under a flimsy wooden crate, had a lot to answer for. Such cars were growing in popularity, starting from their use in farmsteads and extending up through the classes. It was said the King of Sweden now drove one, though presumably only to show solidarity with the beleaguered potato farmers. As we rattled along, I spoke to the driver about what lay ahead and learned that some buyers will pay well for geometric equipment from Berlin. Noted. The geometry equipment should be... Yep, that's what we wanted to sell. And there is... Oh, that's worth a lot of money in Munich. Ooh, we're going near Munich, right? And maps of Europe. Yeah. That's... I want to know my way around Europe. Yes, please. We go to Copenhagen. Nice to Venice is not the route we're taking. Munich to Berlin, there is one, and there are in fact two. That's very useful to us. Very useful indeed. My experience with this game, as I've sort of played, or at least half played it on a number of occasions, a little of both. I have finished it a couple times, and I've sort of started and never finished it a bunch of times. It seems to be like the first half of going around the world is mostly just... I was considered Rembrandt a rather poor man's Gainsborough. It's mostly just kind of trying to make money, because the second half of the journey tends to be the more expensive one, I think. You've got to get across the Pacific and the Atlantic towards the back half of the game. So, yeah, you need the money there, because those journeys tend to be expensive. The people of Amsterdam move about its canal sides with a sense of optimism and good cheer. I felt no pressing need to linger. Once Amsterdam was a great centre of trade and culture, but it now strikes me as a provincial sort of place. There was, of course, the route following the canals south, in particular the route towards the Rhine, though I feared that to end up in Munich after nearly a week of travel would hardly please my hard-driving master. So many choices, all that remained was to choose how best to depart. Okay. Where are we headed? I can go to... What have I got? Open the luggage. Well, the Rembrandt's worth a lot of money in Munich. The wine's worth a good chunk of money in Berlin. I kind of would like to go to both, but that's a bit of a detour. It's kind of going... It's the long way around. And that doesn't go for 2 days. Oh, man. Oh, that doesn't go for 2 days either. Oh, okay. That's a little more expensive. It could make it go faster for 600? That can be... Yeah, okay. I don't think there's going to be too much in it. So it's going to be a slow start to the journey, whichever route I take, but I should make really, really good money out of it, which should make life a lot easier later on, I think. Alrighty, I think we'll go via Berlin and take the $2,000 and then go down to Munich to make the other 7. That sounds like a solid start thing. There's an extra $9,000 in my pocket off the bat. We're already at 5. Although I got to pay a good bit to actually get there in a reasonable time frame as well. We shall pass the night here. With what remained of the day, my master is at 99 health. I probably do not need to attend to him. I will help the kitchen staff to clean. That would make my funds go up by a fair amount. We help them to clean, earning £100. £101, in fact. One is important. Let us depart. Let us depart to Copenhagen. It arrives. No, not to Copenhagen. No, I don't want... That would be wrong. Oh, God, no. Negotiates. To leave at 8 AM. Yes. Go. Embark. Now. That is today. That's, like, in about an hour. Onwards to Berlin. Jeez. I'd accidentally gone, yeah, let's go to Copenhagen instead. Just completely by accident. That would have been pretty bad. Our next leg was another short trip in a car. I bounded in, eager to get started. We hired the same driver as before. You too, she exclaimed. Get in. I shall converse with Monsieur Fogg. What is your wish, master? Passepartout? How is our progress, monsieur? Day 4, I believe. Early days. How are our funds? We are quite comfortable. Very good. That was a fruitless conversation. I probably should have just, brushed his hair or something for that extra 1 health. As we departed Amsterdam for Berlin, I begged Monsieur Fogg to allow me a turn at the wheel. He looked to our driver, who smiled and happily moved to one side. The wheel beneath my hands was like nothing I'd experienced before. Such a responsibility, knowing the slightest sneeze could send us veering into a ditch. The mechanism of the car was quickly grasped. The first lever produced forward movement. Sideways levers controlled our gearing and hence rate of power. The wheel, of course, was to be turned rapidly at all times to release steam into the pistons. We made good time, though at the end of the day my palms were scorched and red hot. Now I know why drivers wear gloves. Relations have improved. Good. I shall attend to him now. Shaped mustache. Excellent. There we go. That mitigates the journey. I'm going to be trying to do that as often as possible, because I think the last time I tried recording 80 Days as a series, we wound up in the Amazon jungle with Monsieur Fogg on the verge of death and no money. Let's try not to have that happen again. It's not a good way to make progress in this game. I don't think anyone can die, which is something that's worth bearing in mind when making decisions. Whenever it's like, yes, run in front of a man who's wielding a gun or something. It's like, you can't die. So, yeah. It's actually not a bad choice. It sounds like it's a dumb choice, but there's not a bad end. There's just a you didn't win the game, really. That's when you make it back to London. Alive, inevitably. We made good progress in the car. Toot, my friends, toot! Finally, we came upon the sight of tiled roofs, the harbour, and the smell of herring. We'd arrived in Berlin, where we may sell things. Oh, in the morning, I suppose. We have arrived at 11 PM. I think if it passes midnight, you're not able to find a hotel in places. So yeah, you need to. If you land at that time, it's like quick, hit the hotel button before you're stopped. We stayed for the night in the Hotel Adlon on the Unter den Linden, the main boulevard in the central Mitte district. From the window, the Brandenburg Gate was lit by upturned gas lamps. I went for a late night stroll along the avenue, past groups of people drinking at low tables. I sat with a man who was demonstrating various engine noises to a rapt audience. "You're a driver?" I asked. "The best in Germany," he retorted. "Can you prove such a claim?" I demanded. He shrugged. "Certainly, I'll be starting a 4-day trip to Bucharest via Prague and Budapest tomorrow. Only I shall do the trip in 3. Ah, he's going to Prague, Vienna, Budapest, Bucharest. Ooh, that's a good chunk of journeys to do in 3 days. It doesn't go anywhere where I need to go. Depart for Munich today. Go. Wait, no, don't sell the things. No, Berlin, quick. No, stop. Go away. Interface, please react to me better. Market. We need to sell the Chateau wine. That's worth money in places. Railway whistle. I don't know. It's worth next to nothing. I'll take it. That's worth... Are we going via Khartoum? I don't think we're going via Khartoum. I think that's... Is that Egypt? I think that's Egypt. Depart. Right. Munich. Go! Yes. Before 6... Oh, I had all day. I had all day on that one. Jeez. I was like, quick, panic, what if it's leaving at like 9 AM? Oh, no. There is a very much a time pressure element to this game. It can be kind of stressful at times, because it's like, you've got a few seconds to decide what to buy, what to sell, and then get on your vehicle in time. Or you've just wasted one of your precious 80 days. We crossed from Berlin to Munich in a patched-up steam carriage. The smoke pumped out of the back through a tall iron chimney, leaving a soot-smudged wake which trailed behind us like a flag. Our driver, Christoph, could not stop talking of his father, who was an engine driver and had just been promoted. The Kaiser has merged all the state railways into the Reich Railway, he told us proudly. We have the most efficient system in all of Europe. What of the Orient Express, I asked. He grinned. The parts near Germany work well. The rest of the line will no doubt be excellent once it is finished. I have no idea what accent that was. Somewhere vaguely in the Europe. Maybe. One man called out, "You are English?" "French," I cried back. The man's expression... By the way, if it hadn't... I know we're like 25 minutes into the whole thing. If it hasn't been established, yes, I am French, but I have no desire to try and put on a French accent for the entirety of this thing. There's no way I can... That's not sustainable for me. So I'm just going to be me. Passepartout is me. He's French with a very fairly neutral accent, as far as things go. The man's expression turned from cheer into anger and began shaking his fists, then throwing clods of mud in our direction. "The Franco-Prussian War," Christoph said gently. "Many of these people lost a great deal." I paled and slunk low into my seat. When I agreed to travel the world, I did not realize the world might not be pleased to see me. Alright, this is where we make some money. The Rembrandt, yep, sell the Rembrandt. Railway whistle is worth slightly more than I paid for it, not a lot more. Apples are worth £1. Let's have that. European train timetable, ooh. More valuable in Dubrovnik, Venice and Budapest. We might be going around those kind of ways. I have luggage space for £2. I can pick up some routes, yes. Magnifying glass should help us with the finer print of the international editions. Okay. We got a lot... now we got a lot of routes open to us. Where are we headed? We have the money. I can depart. I had a thing that was worth money in Venice. That arrives today. Yeah, let's go. Oh god, departure in 20 minutes as well. Onwards. Yeah, we don't even lose a day here. Onwards to making more money. So, what was worth money in Venice? Was it the magnifying glass? I think it was the magnifying glass. I don't even remember. I just grabbed things. It's the oh crap, we stopped at a town bit of the game that's really frantic. 13,000, doing good on the money front though. That's, yeah, hey, 6 days in, I've tripled our money. I'm pretty sure the wager in this game is like 5,000. He's like, oh yes, I've been bet £5,000 that I can go around the world. Jeez, you can make that money in under a week just driving back and forth around Europe, selling bits and pieces. You don't need to do the wager at all. We hired a private driver with an oil-guzzling Bozek car who took off on high speed once we were aboard. I did not believe it would make the long journey through the mountains, but the driver, a native of Munich, was entirely confident in true Germanic fashion. Monsieur Fogg, in turn, was entirely confident with that. I asked him about himself as we drove, but he replied in monosyllables, so our conversation degenerated into a guessing game. Was he married? Yes, his wife was called Hilda. Was he already been a soldier? No, and that war with France had seemed most unnecessary to him. Did he design the car himself? No, it was a Bozek, designed by Bozek, of course. I exhausted him. We fell silent, but for the sputtering and spurting of the engine as it exploded rhythmically beneath us. I've got enough routes I can attend to Monsieur Fogg. I don't need to ask people about routes. Unless we really want to go to Dubrovnik. Don't know if I do. By midday, we'd crested the mountains and our journey was almost steam-free. Oh man, it's 10 PM. Are we going to be there in time to actually get a hotel? When it said you'll be there today, I didn't realize it was going to be like last thing today. Oh well. I relished the fresh air, and could see my master did as well. But there was still another 2 hours to go before we'd reach the shore and ferry boat to the city of Venice. I was exhausted and I fear irritable, and I am quite sure Monsieur Fogg caught sight of my mood. Still, we survived, the car did not explode, and we were rowed across the gulf to the city of canals. The lamps were just being lit. Wait, what? Hang on. 2 hours till we get there. That's going to be midnight. They're only just lighting the lamps at midnight? Ludonarrative dissonance. I think that's what that is. It's like the game. What's happening in the game mechanically doesn't match what the game is telling me. Okay. The lamps were just being lit, and we lost ourselves in the narrow, winding alleys, enjoying the smells of grilling fish and red wine, and sparkle of glass from shop windows. This was a pretty place we'd arrived in, indeed. However, our relations have deteriorated slightly. Come on, get there for 11. It does get there for 11. Yep, hotel. Don't want to be sleeping rough. If it passes 12, you're sleeping rough. So then it was at 10 o'clock they said, we're 2 hours away, and we weren't, because we were, in fact, 1 hour away. again with the whole ludonarrative dissonance. Oh well, shouldn't detract from the story. We're just enjoying the story.